Today's most important person you don't know is so important, at least for Democrats, that the President of the United States went to Missouri this afternoon to help her raise money. She's Robin Carnahan, Missouri's Secretary of State, but she would like to be Missouri's next U.S. Senator. Politics runs in her family. Her brother Russ is a congressman. Her father Mel was governor. Her mother Jean was Missouri's first female U.S. Senator, although it is a sad story. Jean was appointed after Mel Carnahan died in a plane crash. She won, but he won the 2000 Senate election anyway. Now, Robin Carnahan, the daughter, was elected Secretary of State in 2004. She also manages the family farm, runs marathons, and a few months ago raised eyebrows by skipping a presidential visit related to health care reform. She is more than happy to be seen with President Obama now. Let's bring in today's guests, Republican strategist Ron Bonjean and Democratic strategist Paul Begala, two of my favorite men in Washington. Glad to be here with you. So President Obama has been to Missouri more than any state other than Louisiana since the Gulf spill. Does he think he's a little bitter that he lost it in the general, Paul?
No, not bitter, but, you know, of course, every politician wants to win all 50 states. Yeah. It's a critical race. Democrats have a real chance with the retirement of Kit Bond, a longtime incumbent Republican senator, to pick this up, even in a bad year. And Robin Carnahan, as you say, is from, you know, Missouri royalty. She's a really strong candidate. Democrats have a very good chance. And in that state, in her hometown of Rolla, Missouri, in southeastern Missouri, Democrats have an outstanding congressional candidate, Tommy Sowers, an Army Ranger. No, wow. Great guy, exactly the kind of guy that Democrats are trying to recruit. Army Ranger from that district. And so they think, a lot of Democrats think you could pick up not only that Senate seat, but also the House seat in her hometown.
Ron, Kit Bond's seat could go to a Democrat?
I'm not so sure about that. You know, the real key here is jobs, unemployment. Unemployment rate is at 14%. President Obama went in the state 2 years ago and said the same thing that he's saying today, which is, I'm going to bring jobs to the state. It hasn't happened, and I think that's the real key here, is who can bring jobs, who can bring, you know, who can bring the unemployment rate down. And, you know, if that can't be done, they might be looking for an alternative. And the key here for Missouri is independent voters.
As with the nation.
As with the nation, absolutely.
We will continue this discussion. I want to move to some of the fun stories on my radar tonight. Okay, first of all, tonight's radar is all about damage control. One person who is a master of damage control, our vice president. He has been known to go a little bit off message, and he told Politico, quote, I joke and I say, look, the reason I can be so brutally frank sometimes is that I'm the only one the president can't fire. It's a constitutional office. It's more than my just being a devil's advocate. I don't advocate things, I question things. I don't have a position on and I'm not sure of, and I will really be a pain in the neck. Okay, that was Vice President Biden. This reminded us of a certain scene on The West Wing, and what a difference. Listen to this.
We're going to raise the level of public debate in this country, and let that be our legacy. That sound all right to you, Josh?
I serve at the pleasure of the President of the United States.
Yeah?
I serve at the pleasure of the President.
What a difference Hollywood makes. Biden says he can say anything he wants because he can't be fired. In Hollywood, they're always worried about pleasing the president.
But those were staff people. You know, this vice president, unlike the prior one, has actually read the Constitution, and he actually follows it. And he knows he has a no-cut contract from the American people. You know, he can't be fired. And God bless Barack Obama for picking Joe Biden. Seriously, he brings that kind of middle-class sensibility that Democrats have to have, but also that unvarnished advice that comes from long experience and having lived such, I think, a classic American dream life. So I love Biden. I think he's one of the best things my party has.
I've heard some Republicans say they're disappointed that they're not getting more gaffes out of Biden. They thought he'd be more gaffe prone.
You know, he's my favorite Democratic politician who does make the gaffes. And I believe about 10 days ago, he was in my home state of Wisconsin and Milwaukee, and was at my favorite ice cream place, Kopp's Family Custard, where he said to when the manager said, will you lower my taxes? The manager, Biden said, come on, don't be a smart aleck, quote unquote, I'm changing the word. He goes, can't you say something nice? I think, you know, it's nothing wrong to say, will you lower my taxes? But he took it the wrong way. And I love that. I love that he's natural and he's in his own element, he's in his own world, and he loves to say what he thinks, and let's keep him saying it.
Everyone loves Biden. Okay. On a more serious note, our Defense Secretary, Robert Gates, has been under two presidents and the CIA director under another. He's been defense secretary under 2 presidents, CIA director under another. And being that kind of political survivor means that he really does know the value of discipline and also damage control. And today his tactic was candor.
Over the last 2 years, I have lost a first-rate Central Command commander and an outstanding commander of ISAF in Afghanistan due to their own missteps in dealing with the media. I've had to recall a combatant commander to Washington for a verbal reprimand for speaking out inappropriately on a sensitive foreign policy issue. I've had 2 very different presidents, each on several occasions, express concern to me about senior defense officials, both civilian and military, speaking out inappropriately on foreign policy issues. These instances, together with my own frustration with premature disclosures of personnel, budget, and other options under consideration, led me to conclude several weeks ago that we need greater coordination and discipline.
Before we go to break, quick reactions. That seems like pretty full disclosure.
It's great. And he's right. God bless our military. You know, they have really performed heroically. And God bless Secretary Gates, leading them under first a Republican, now a Democratic president. They do need to button up their media operations there to advise in private and then to salute and carry out in public. And I think Secretary Gates is exactly right.
You applaud the candor, too?
I completely agree. I thought it was the right tone, the right manner, and frankly, they're there to win wars. They're, you know, if they need to talk to the media, and that's important, that's the right place and time, but, you know, they shouldn't be leaking out of the Pentagon and saying whatever they think on the ground. They're supposed to be concentrating on the mission at hand, and I thought it was a really smart move by Secretary Gates.
All right, some effective damage control today. Stay right there because we'll be back with both of you. And coming up, we'll take a look at the stories that you'll see in tomorrow's papers. It's tomorrow's news tonight. And Sarah Palin seeing pink elephants? We'll explain after the break.